Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Stories Without Labels, the podcast, where we create space for neurodiversity, emotional growth, and self expression. I'm your host, May Sosa, children's book author, psychiatric nurse, and mom to a wonderful neurodivergent child. Today, we will be talking about something incredibly powerful: encouraging advocacy in neurodivergent youth. Whether your child is learning to speak up for their sensory needs, explaining their differences to peers, or asking for support in school, this episode it's about helping them find and use their voice confidently and safely. What does advocacy mean for neurodivergent youth? Let's begin with the basics. What does advocacy mean? Advocacy isn't about confrontation or demanding change aggressively. It's about knowing yourself, understanding your needs, and learning how to communicate those needs to others in a way that feels authentic. For neurodivergent youth, like those with autism, ADHD, dyslexia, or sensory processing differences, advocacy mean asking for a quiet space during class, saying, I need a break before reaching a meltdown, or choosing not to mask their true selves to fit in. Advocacy builds self awareness, empowerment, and resilience. It gives kids a sense of control in a world where quite often they are misunderstood. And why do we need to start young? The earlier we encourage advocacy, the more naturally it becomes part of a child's life. Think of it like learning a language. If kids grow up hearing phrases like, you can tell me what feels good or hard for you, it's okay to ask for help. Your voice matters. Then they start internalizing the belief that they are allowed to speak up. Without these messages, many neurodivergent kids grow up thinking they're too much, too sensitive, or that they have to go along with discomfort to keep others happy. This often leads to burnout, anxiety, and low self-esteem later in life. By teaching advocacy early, we break this cycle. We teach kids that being different doesn't mean being powerless. Let me share with you some examples from real families. And these names, of course, have been changed for privacy reasons. Sophia, age 7, autistic, and nonverbal. Her parents worked with her speech therapist to create a communication board with time. She learned to point symbols to express things like too loud, need a hug, or no more. That's a type of self advocacy. Even when the child is nonverbal, we can create opportunities to express their needs in a way that is suitable for this child to learn to self-advocate. Now, another example, Liam is 10, has ADHD. Liam learned to advocate at school, to ask for movement breaks and fewer written instructions. His mom coached him by role playing these conversations at home. Teach the child to follow up on their self advocacy and practice at home. Practice, practice, practice will make perfect. So keep up on practicing those self advocacy with your child. You will not regret it. Another example, Sarah. She's age 15, dyslexic and passionate about change. Sarah started a neurodiversity club at her high school. She invited speakers and created posters that explained dyslexia, dyspraxia, and executive functioning in student friendly language. Now, that's another type of advocacy at its finest. You don't need to start big, like in this particular example. Even saying, I need quiet time is an act of courage. Remember, for neurodivergent kids, communication, it's a big piece of what we need to support them with. And even if they're nonverbal, there's always ways of communicating. Teach your kids to always do and ask for what's best for them. Well, you might be thinking, how do I do that? Or can you tell me some ways I could support? So, parents and adults can support advocacy and the learning of such. Here's how you can do it. You can model advocacy. Let your child see you asking for your own needs, whether that's taking a break, setting boundaries, or saying no. Another way is use affirming language. Say things like, your feelings are valid. You deserve to be heard. And let's find a way that whatever you need would work. And the more the kids hear this validations, the more self-confident they become in engaging in that self-advocacy piece whenever they need to. Another piece could be role play, practice together. What it sounds like to speak to a teacher, a coach, or a friend. You can use scripts or visuals for younger kids. There's so many ways that this could be practiced. And celebrate small wins. If your child asks for help, tell them, that was brave of you. The more positive feedback they get, the more confident they will become. Another way is listen and collaborate. Please don't make assumptions. Let your child lead when it comes to how they want to advocate. Some kids might want a peer buddy. Others prefer writing over speaking. This process could be so different for everyone. And remember, this is not about pushing your kids outside of their own comfort zone. Is to teach them about how to empower themselves through self-advocacy, through communicating their needs in whichever way makes more sense and makes them more comfortable to do so. There are tools to help advocacy. Some tools and resources you can support your youth in self-advocacy could include visual schedules to promote independence. Social stories is a big one to teach how and when to speak up. This could be so effective. emotion charts or feeling wheels for expressing their emotions where they're at, advocacy cards or lanyards. For kids who prefer nonverbal cues like, I need a break, or this is too loud for me, you can find probably downloadable versions of these tools anywhere on the web. And I will put some of these on my website, which would be www.storieswithoutlabels.com. And I do have a section for downloadable resources, and I will make sure I have some of these tools there for you so you can use them in your journey of teaching your child how to self advocate. Advocacy isn't just about speaking up. It's about being seen. It's about helping neurodivergent youth feel safe, accepted, and powerful in their own skin. Let's try to raise a generation of kids who don't adjust to the world, but help change it with their voices, their needs, and their truth leading the way. Whether you're a parent, a teacher, therapist, or friend, your support matters more than what you really know. Thank you for listening to Stories Without Labels, the podcast. If today's episode resonated with you, please subscribe, leave a review, share this with a family member who might need it or a friend. And again, you can find more resources, children's books and activity sheets, a blog post on this particular subject and others on our website, www.storieswithoutlabels.com, and follow us on social media at Stories Without Labels. Until next time, keep supporting the voices that matter most. Your kids. Bye for now.